In today's video, by popular demand, we are going back to the 80s again to look at these two vintage coding books and try our hand at typing out and testing some, and if you haven't guessed from the theming behind me, horror computer games. Mwahahaha. And before we start, you might be thinking these look familiar. And if you have watched some of my earlier coding videos, you wouldn't be wrong, as I've featured these two other books in this series, computer space games and computer battle games, that you might recognize here, as they are all made by the same publisher, Usborne Books, who published a great collection of home computing books back in the 1980s, which included these horror coding ones that inspired a generation to delve into programming and learn how to do it for themselves. That's why today we're going to be typing in, probably making mistakes, then fixing them and trying to play the games. And in doing so, we can find out what it was like to code in the 80s. And the two we are looking at today are just as great as others in this line of books. And if we take a look, each book supports multiple computers, with creepy computer games supporting the most at 8, which included the Spectrum, ZX81, BBC, Auric, VIC-20, TRS-80, Apple and the Dragon, which are a great bunch of computers. So definitely let me know in the comments which one you had or most enjoyed playing on. And inside, as I mentioned with the covers, just like as with all the others in this range, these two horror themed ones have some super cool illustrations with stories that create both excitement and suspense. And yes, I said suspense, as I hope you got, these are horror games. They also contain the obligatory compatibility key chart, showing you what symbols belong to what computers so that you can edit the code to suit. And program-wise, each book has 7 to 8 to type in and learn about. And if we check out creepy computer games here, we can see games such as Computer Nightmare, Number Wizard, Ghost Guzzler, Spider Woman, Gravedigger, Madhouse, Ghost Maze, and finally, the one I have a feeling we might see in a minute, Seance. But before we go to type in the first game, and as I've just been talking about coding and learning, I can't think of a better time to introduce today's video sponsor, BootDev. BootDev is a coding learning platform that will take you from a complete programming beginner to a full stack developer, with a comprehensive gamified learning path of 23 courses. It's fully interactive, firstly teaching coding concepts and then giving you challenges to put your newfound skills to the test, with bonus features like an AI assistant called Boots to ask for help if you ever get stuck, and practice sessions to really hammer the concepts home. And my favourite part is the project-based approach. The first thing you'll be doing is creating a fantasy-based RPG to introduce you to the world of Python. And there are other projects along the learning path, like building a Pokédex, and for all you retro gaming fans, building your own graphical version of Asteroids using Python and Pygame. I've personally had a great time using the course to brush up on my Python skills over the last few weeks, and I even got this very snazzy certificate to print out when I finished that course. So if you want to learn a new skill and have a great time doing it, you can find the link to BootDev in the description and comment section below. Okay, so I've got the creepy computer games book here, and the first program we're going to be typing in from this one is all the way at the back, and it's called Seance. So I think we're going to be communicating with some spirits. Ooh, spooky. And the computer that I'm going to be using to type this one in is this one here, the quintessentially British ZX81. This tiny machine was released in 1981, and on release, the assembled model, like the one you can see here, only cost £69.95, which was quite a bit cheaper than other machines of the day. It's notable for a few things, one of them being the membrane keyboard, and another being that it only has 1K of RAM. So it'll be interesting to see how a game fits in to just 1024 bytes. But before we get to typing the game in, let's find out a little bit more about it by reading out the little exposition paragraph, and these things always manage to make the game sound a lot more extravagant than they usually end up being. But here we go. Messages from the spirits are coming through, letter by letter. They want you to remember the letters and type them into the computer in the correct order. If you make mistakes, they will be angry, very angry, ... Watch for stars on your screen. They show the letters in the spirit's messages. So now we know a little bit more about what the game should do. Let's get to typing it in. And I guess the first thing I should talk about here is really the elephant in the room, and that's this membrane keyboard. Because I know there is a lot of opinions on this. It's a bit like Marmite. I think people either love it or they hate it, although I'm not sure how many people would proclaim to love the membrane keyboard. But I guess if it was the only keyboard you knew, like your first computer, it wouldn't be that bad. Definitely let me know in the comments if you had one of these and what you thought about it. Because honestly, maybe controversially, but I'm in the camp that I don't really think it's that bad. I do find it quite responsive to type on, and I guess the main difference between this and a normal keyboard is the fact that you don't really type out individual letters. Instead, you can just find the commands. So I'm going to type in let next, and to do that, rather than typing in LET, I can just look for let here and hit it, and there it is. But it does become a little bit of a searching game sometimes to find the letter that you want. But I find that when I get into sort of the flow state of typing, it can get quite quick. And another good thing about typing this program on the ZX81 is you can see the next line here has the key next to it, but we don't have to use a key for this because this program was written for the ZX81, so I can just type it out as it was written. So I'll carry on typing it, but as I've only managed to type in 2 lines, I think you might be here all day if I let you watch me type the whole thing out. So instead, I'm going to go and finish typing this up, and I'll be back when I'm done so that we can give it a play. Okay, I'm back, but unfortunately this time without a game to play, as I've had a bit of an RTFM moment, because even though, and I'll just show you now, it clearly states in the book to use the ZX81 with extra memory, I did not read that, and as such did not have my RAM pack plugged in. So I kind of just wasted 15 minutes typing half of the game in for it only to start corrupting and doing strange things like you can see on the screen here when it ran out of memory. But lesson learned, and I guess we are not going to be seeing this time what a 1K program can do, as I think this one is more like 2 to 3K, which is still quite impressive. Anyway, moving on, I've now dug out my 16K RAM pack, so it's time for take 2 and getting this program typed back in. So I'll be back this time with a working game quicker than you can say membrane keyboard. As I promised, I'd be back before you could say you know what. Here I am, and I've got a working program. I have had to do a little bit of error checking on what I've typed in, which is a bit inevitable with these type in listings, but it's all working. So let's hit run and get it going. And if I just refer back to the book here, basically the way this works, we can already see the board of the full alphabet displayed on the screen, and the little asterisk next to it, or next to each letter, basically spelling out a message. And we've got to remember what order the letters came up in so that we can get the message that the spirits want to convey. But I think I've already messed this up a little bit by talking too much and not focusing. So I didn't actually see what order any of these letters came up. So we're gonna have to type something a bit random here, and let's just say hello to them, but I don't think they're gonna like that. Right, we'll say hello. Yeah, the table begins to shake. There's already supernatural happenings, but The board's appearing again. I'm going to focus on this one and try and get it right. Y, F, N, W, P, R. Y, F, N, W, P, R. Okay. Yep, they seem to like that. That went through fine. Right, we'll do another one. M, T, Q. Okay, MTQ got a shorter one there. Even though this does feel a bit like gibberish. The spirits have a very important message to convey to us, but we're never going to know what it is because the letters are all jumbled up. So MTQ. Yep, that one worked. Let's see. H, K. Yeah, these. So it is randomising the length of the messages as well. So we're getting different letters in, although I can't remember the last two letters there. So we'll type Spink in again. We'll say hello again, even though I know they won't like that. Let's see, hello. The light bulb shatters. Okay, yeah, no like on that. And I think we get 3 different tries. I'm not actually sure how many you have to get right to sort of make the spirits at peace with you. I don't think we'll be stuck here forever going through each of the letters. But if I get this one wrong, I know that something very bad is going to happen. But I'm not going to say hello again. I'll tell them my name. There we go. We'll type in Kari. Yeah, a pair of clammy hands grasps your neck. And I think the spirits have taken us to the underworld. But before we move on to typing and testing another game on a different computer, I just thought I would share my thoughts on this one. For such a simple game, I do like the fact that unlike some of the programs in earlier Usborne books, this one has a bit more going on the screen. And although it was pretty tricky, if, like me, you were trying to talk and play at the same time, when I was concentrating, I did find it quite fun. And code-wise, for such a short program, there is a lot going on, and normally, and I mean every other program in this book has one. If I just show you now, you get a rundown on the side which says what each block of a code does, which is great when learning. And this one, instead of the normal challenge question, literally tells you to figure out what the code does, which, to be fair, at the end of the book is a great challenge. But personally, I would have liked it if it challenged a programmer to add a dictionary, where you get a jumble of letters spelling a real word and you have to type it in correctly to move forward. So that's what I thought, but I would love to hear what you thought of this game and program in the comments below. Okay, I've got the other book here, Weird Computer Games, and I will say I do love the cover on this one with what looks like a zombie coming out of the grave. And the program we're going to be testing is this one here, Flying Witches, in which we apparently get to fly on a broom. So I can't wait for that. And for which, the computer I'm going to be playing this game on, and I'm pretty sure if you went to any UK school in the 80s, you will recognise it. Yes, it's the fantastic BBC Micro. And this one holds a place close to my heart, as it was the computer that I took my first steps to learning to code on, although admittedly 25 years after its release. And it was released in December 1981, and this machine won the contract for the BBC's Computer Literacy Project, hence the name, and became a staple of British schools, to the chagrin of Sir Clive Sinclair, if the TV drama Micromen is anything to go by. Which, if you haven't seen it, check it out, as it is a great watch. With this, the Model B starting at around £399. It was, I believe, for UK standards, quite expensive and out of the reach for many homes, especially when compared to the price of the more popular ZX Spectrum and Commodore 64 machines that came out around the same time. And I've just opened the book back to the Flying Witches page so you can read out this paragraph and learn a little bit more about the backstory for the game, as well as some instructions on how to play it. So, as a chief assistant to Super Witch, your job is to fly across the land on your broomstick, collecting fresh ingredients for her putrid potions. You will know exactly what to collect each time because she transmits her revolting recipes directly to your computer screen. Ingredients such as T, toe of newt, and B, brain of bat, flash past beneath you as you fly. Press any key to swoop down and pick one up. You must land right on top of it to do so. Take care, some of them could be the broomstick snatcher in disguise. If you land on her, you'll lose your stick. Luckily, you start the game with 3 spares. You must collect everything you need before you get to the cauldron, or Super Witch will not be pleased with you. So this is the part in the video where I normally start typing in the game, but to speed things up, I'm 1 step ahead and I've already typed it all out. However, I will say this one was a bit of a nightmare to type in, as I didn't just do it once, I've had to type it in twice, because the first time, despite combing through the code and error checking, I just couldn't get it to work. So I scrapped that one and typed it in again. And you know what? This version, after correcting a couple of silly mistakes, worked, and now I can't wait to show it to you. And as I did this before my dinner, I have saved it for safety, so now I'm back. Let's load it up and check it out together. So I hope you enjoyed that little loading ASMR, but it is loaded now, so let's give it a play. Type run, and we already have the first screen, which is telling us what ingredients we need to collect. And basically the way this works is we are the witch on our broomstick and we've got to drop down to collect it. I think it's easier if I just show you. So I'll hit return and immediately we're thrown in there. Like I said, that is the broomstick at the top there with the Y, and we are the witch. And, oh, I've already collected one. We're basically going to drop down on the letters, which symbolises the ingredients. But this is pretty tricky because we have to go directly over it. So the Y has to hit the letter like that. I've collected 2. Oh, that W there, if you remember from the description, means that the broomstick snatchers took one of my broomsticks. And I think I only have 3. And it's completely random when they take it. So I've got to collect the right amount, but I have honestly forgotten how many of each I need. So I'm just going to try and get into the groove of collecting any. Hopefully the Super Witch will be... Oh, we've hit the cauldron and we're too late because we don't have all the items. But that is the game. I'm going to play it one more time. Now I've kind of got into the groove, the rhythm of actually collecting the stuff. So we hit run. Okay, we need 3, 3, 3, 4. Let's see, will I remember that? 3, 3, 3, 4. Okay, let's try and get the right ones. So we need, oh, we're gonna get 1 first. Yeah, we've got 1 brain of bat. Let's collect an R, an E. Like I said, this is tricky. It's trying to sort of get positioned on the right area. I think it gives you about a minute, I guess. I don't know how long we get to sort of collect all the items, but an E. Oh no, the broomstick snatcher got us then. Okay, we have 2 roots of ivy. We're doing well on the roots of ivy. Got an E. Oh, another broomstick snatcher. We might actually run out of oh, another one. We might run out of broomsticks actually. That would be sad, but a T, an E. Oh, no, we hit the cauldron again and we didn't get all of the ingredients. So there you have it. That was Flying Witches. And like before, let us know in the comments what you thought of that one. Personally, I found it okay, if a tad hard. But for such a simple game with graphics to play in real time, it's amazing what they managed to do with such few lines of code. And like I say, difficulty in the game is off the charts, as evidenced by me not being able to drop the broom in the right position very often. Anyway, I'll share the code in the description for anyone wanting to check the game out, and if you do, don't forget to let me know how you got on. Anyway, wrapping things up, hopefully you enjoyed seeing 2 of, I think, 15 games we could have chosen to type in and play. If you would like to see me type in and check out some more of the games from these 2 books, I want to recommend other books from this era to look at, and even suggest what computers you would like to see me try them on, as I do have quite a few systems, which is well evidenced behind me, then definitely let me know in in the comments below. And if you want to have a go yourself, Usborne have gracefully scanned and uploaded to their website, like you can see here, a lot of their 80s computer books for everyone to download and see. So thank you all for watching, and as now we are near the end of the video, I can't think of a better time to say a big thank you to all those that support the channel, both new and old, here on YouTube through memberships, over on Patreon and through Buy Me a Coffee. And for those interested in finding out what extra perks my YouTube memberships and Patreon members get, you can find links to both of them over in the video description. And talking of perks, a massive thank you goes out to both my Patreon Silver and Gold members for their amazing extra support, whose names you can see here on the screen, especially Banesh Banerjee, Jeremy, Nihai Spy and Peter Broderson. Likewise, all you Patreon Bronze members and YouTube Elite VIP members will be able to see your names immortalised in the end scroll at the end of this video. Anyway, that's all for today, and after all that typing in, I think I deserve a break. So while the BBC Micro is out, I'm off to play one of my favourite games for this machine, Chucky Egg. So I'll see you in the next one.